Welcome dear student in the 8th experiment of biology. So here this experiment for the year 2020-21 for question number 2 it is there, and that is for 3 marks. So what is the aim? To study the population density. So for this year only you have to learn density, not about the frequency of the plant population by quadrat method. Okay, so here total 5 quadrats you have to learn, and you have to learn about the total 6 species. In exam time you have to find out the density of only one species. Okay, so now we'll see about the first quadrat, and from that we can find out the species, total number of the species in the particular quadrat. Now this is your quadrat number 1. Okay, in this quadrat number 1 you can observe different species are there: species A, species B, species C, species D, species E, and species F. Okay, so total 6 species are there, of which how many are present in this quadrat number 1? So this is your quadrat number 1. Okay, so like that here total 5 quadrats you have to learn. Now first I will check here about the species A. Species A, whether it is present or no. So we'll just check it properly whether the species A is present or no. Okay, now here properly you have to find out whether the species A is present or no. Now the species A, this species is absent, so I will write in the table. So you have to prepare the table before starting the experiment. You have to prepare the table like that. Okay, and in that you have to mention what the species are there. Now here about species A, the number is 0, so there is no species A. Species B is there. So how many species B are there? So 1 here, then you can observe 2, then here is a third one is there, and this is a fourth one. Okay, so total 4 plants are there about species B. So check it properly how the leaf structure, everything is there, and then you have to mention. Okay, so this species B in the first quadrant number, that is 4. Now we'll go to the species C. So species C, how it is, just check the structure. Now we'll check how many are there. 1, then here it is 2, then here it is 3, then here it is 4, then here 5 and 6. Okay, always check it twice. So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Easily you can recognize here the red color flowers are there. Okay, sometimes flowers are absent, then you have to cross check with the leaf structure. So total how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So I will mention species C, 6 in the first quadrant. Now species D. So this is your species D. So how many are there? 1, then 2, then 3, then 4 and then 5. So total 5 plants are there about species D, that I will write in the table now. Next species E. So species E, this is a species E. Okay, so how many are there? 1, then here it is 2, then it is 3, then here it is 4 and then the 5. So here fifth one is here. Okay, again just check it. So total 5 about the species E. So then you have to mention in the table 5. Species F. Species F, just check the leaf structure and all. Flower is also there. So 1, then here it is 2, then it is 3, then it is 4. So total 4 plants are there about species F. So about all the 6 species, of which one species is absent and remaining species are present, and their number it is mentioned in this table now. So about species A, B, C, D, E and F, you can observe 0, 4, 6, 5, 5 and 4. So that is about quadrant number 1. So like that here we will find out quadrant 2 also. Now the second quadrant, you have to learn about the second quadrant. So this is your second quadrant, and in this you have to find out how many total number are there about each species. Now here we'll see about the species A. So species A, how many are there? 1, then here it is 2. Okay, you can observe the flower. 3 is there. Okay, and then here it is 4. Okay, just find out again. So total 4 plants are there about species A. So that I will mention in the table. Then species B. So this species B, so where it is 1, then here it is 2 and then 3. Okay, just check it once again. Here total 1, 2 and 3. So that also will mention in the next, that is for in the table quadrant 2. Species B, how many are there? 3. Species C will check 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then 5. So total 5 plants are there about species. Next, that is C. Species D. So species D. This plant will check it here. It is not there. As it is not there, we'll mention there 0. Species D is 0. Once again, we'll check it. It is not there. Species D is a 0. Species E will check it now here. Species E, 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then 5. Okay, so total 5 plants are there about species E. Then species F. Species F, this plant, 1, then 2, and then 3. So only 3 plants are there. So we'll mention in the table accordingly. So here, according to this, we got the numbers that is already written in the table just now. So that will check it. So this is your quadrant 2. In the quadrant 2, we got species A4, B3, CC, C5, D0, E5, and F3. Okay, so like that, this is about quadrant 2. Now like that, we'll find out about the quadrant 3 also. For the quadrant number 3, so here we can see quadrant number 3. In that again, we'll find out the number of the plants of each species. So here species A, for species A, if we'll check it here, this is 1 plant, then this is a 2 plant. So only 2 plants are there about species A in the third quadrant, so that I will mention. Now species B here 1, then 2, and 3, and then 4. So like that 4 plants are there that I will mention in the table for quadrant number 3. Then species C. So species C, 1, then 2, and 3. So only 3 are there, so that I will mention in the table. The next, that is about the species D. Species D, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 plants are there about species D, that also I will mention. Then species E, 1, then here 2, then 3, and then 4. So like that 4 I will mention here. Species F plant I am not finding here, so species F will write 0. So like that here we got the result of the third quadrant. So species A2, B4, C3, D4, E4, and F0. Okay, so now we'll go for the next quadrant. Next quadrant, that is quadrant number 4. So for quadrant number 4, we'll find again number of the plants of each species. So species A here 1, then 2, then 3. So species A 3 plants are there. Check it once again. Species B, for species B, if we'll find here only 1 plant I am finding. Nowhere it is. Species B, only 1 plant. Species C, so species C 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. So total 4 plants are there, species C. Species D 1, then 2, then 3, and 4, and here it is 5. So total 5 plants about species D. Then about the species E. Species E, here I am not finding any species E here, so 0 number for species E. Species F, 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. You have to check it again. So total 4 plants are there about species F. So like that here we got the result for quadrant number 4. Species A3, B1, C4, B5, E0, and F4. Okay. Okay, this is quadrant number 5 now. Quadrant number 5 again we'll find out the number of the plants of each species. So species A I'm finding here 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. So like that we'll check it once again. 4 plants are there, species A. Species B here I am not finding anywhere species B, so species B I'll write 0. Species C 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 plants are there of species C. Then species D, for species D 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 plants about species D. Species E will find out 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and 5. So 5 plants about species E. Species F, 1, then 2, and 3 plants of species E. So here we got the result, that is about the each species numbers. So this total numbers what we got here that I will show. So this is the result for our fifth quadrant, spaces A4, B0, C6, D4, then E5 and F3. Okay, so like that here total 5 quadrant we have learned and total 6 species in each quadrant we have learned, and then this whatever the information what we got about each species, number of the plants of each species, that I will write in the table. Then we have to do the calculation. Okay. Yes, now this all information what we have taken, that is written in this table. You can see now here like that here one table you have to prepare in the exam time. Okay, in exam time you have to write only one species, what the species will be given to you. Suppose the species A will be given to you, so your table will be this much only. Suppose species B, instead of that B, C, D, E or F, any one species will be given to you during the exam time for the 3 marks. So in the exam time you have to prepare the table like that, and you have to write this all information and do the calculation. For writing this part you will get the 2 marks. Okay, and 1 mark you have to write the result. So here result, population density of the given plant species A. Suppose you get the A, then write about the density of that species A. So what the species A, we got the density 2.6. Okay, now what the information I have collected in the previous week, what we have collected from that all the 4 quadrant, this is the what the information is there. Now this whole information is copied in this table. You can see here the species A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, and then number of the individuals per quadrant. So quadrant number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About the species A, here it is written, then species B, C, D, E and F, that is for quadrant number 1. Same for the quadrant number 2, same for quadrant number 3, 4 and the 5. Okay, next this is now the important, this is what the work you have to do actually during the quadrant, and remaining part you have to complete at your place. Now this the total number of the individuals in all the quadrants studied. So how many quadrants studied? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So total number of the individuals, how many are there? So this you have to add. So how much you got? 13. Okay, and then what is written here? Total number of the quadrant in which species occurred. So how many species occur in the quadrant? Species occurred in the quadrant 1, no species there, while remaining 4 all where the species occurred. So here total number of the quadrant in which the species occur, that is 4. Then here total number of the quadrants studied, how many quadrants studied? All 5. So 5. So always remember here total number of the quadrants studied will be 5 for each species, all 5 species where the total number of quadrant is a 5. Same for species B, here we have collected the information from the quadrant number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many total plants are there about this species B? So total 12. So you have to add this. Total we got 12. Okay, same for the C also, for the D also, for the E also, and for the F also. Next, just now I explained here total number of the quadrant in which species occurred. So here only 4 quadrant species occur. Here only 4 species occurred in the species B occurred in this first 4 quadrant. Now here in all the quadrant this species C is occur. So that's why here it is 5 written. While D also here only in the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here E also 1, 2, 3 and 4 quadrant, and F also 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 4 quadrant here it is occurred. Only C here all 5 quadrant where the species occur. Okay, this just now I said everything will be same. Now this is very important. Here you have to do the calculation. Population density. What is the formula for the population density? Population density, that is total number of the individuals of the species, and indicates that total number of the individual of that particular species in all quadrants studied. So how many are there? That is 13. Then divide by what? Divide by total number of the quadrants studied. So how many quadrants we have studied? 5. So that's why this total divided by this 5. So always everywhere it will be divided by 5. So for species A you got 13 by 5. So you got a 2.6. So this is your density of species A. Same for the species B also, we got the 2.4. Species C 24 by 5 is equal to 4.8. Species D we got 3.6. Species E we got 3.8, and species F we got 2.8. Sorry. So here, suppose species B will be given to you, you will make the table like that. So this upper portion, whatever the format is there, it is same, that you have to by heart. Then species B you have to mention here, and then you have to write this, then here this one, and then the calculation. So only this one, whatever the part you have to write, which is the species given to you accordingly. For that you get 2 marks and 1 mark for writing the result. So population density of the given plant species, suppose plant species C is given to you, then your answer will be 4.8. So density is a 4.8, like that. Here for getting 3 marks you have to do like that. Okay, so all the best for your practical.